This is the mission 44 organized by Space Analog Station Habitat Marte. And then today is July 16th, 2020. And we will have the presentation of Davi Souza about how would be the operation of a health center in Mars, okay? You are welcome, Davi.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Hello again, crew. Good morning. And this time I was selected to be as invited research. I was selected to be presenting some considerations about the health center. First of all, I would like to say that I'm not an specialist in this thematic. I'm an engineer student at the Federal University here, and then I will be presenting you some possible considerations and also some ideas related to my research about health and mental health and well-being in space. And thank you very much again. So this is related to the concept that we are isolated on Mars. We are considering that we have some facilities and such as the power station, the main station, the greenhouse, and also the health center. And then I want to start my presentations with some considerations related to the health center and also health in space. First of all the missions related to Mars, to go to Mars, we need to consider that there will be long duration missions and we need to keep a healthy occupancy in this environment. And also for all the situations that we will face on Mars, we need to have a positive stimulus of the challenge of the situations that we will be facing. And also, this is what I really like, is to find the creative ways to deal with isolation and other situations that may occur on the Mars surface. I like to say that when we are, based on my experience in analog missions in Habitat Marte, I like to say that on a Mars environment, on a space environment, we need to leave the environment and to stay, to have the experience of living in the environment, to know what are the possible features and also situations and how can we overcome these possible situations and possible bad situations. And then some activities developed in the whole habitat. I think we need to ensure these 4 main points related to occupancy. When we want to achieve a health occupancy, we need to consider that we need to ensure the physical and psychological health for the whole crew, also to guarantee the basic needs for the astronauts, like food, safety, recreation, and also rest. And also some need concerning interpersonal relationships. And the 4th topic is to keep the crew engaged, not only with the mission routines, but with the other crew members. So, other considerations, these are some pictures of NASA, and then we are considering here the NASA human health and performance when we want to achieve a goal to enable a successful space exploration and mitigate, not only minimize, but we want to mitigate the most part of the risks that we have on a space flight. And then we have this timeline. I can say that that we will be facing some, and we will have some considerations in this timeline related to the space flight and also mission design, the hazards, the evidence, the risks, standards, and also the mitigations. And then we are in this timeline. We have. I would like to mention some important topics. The hazards I will be presenting after in the next slide. But when we are considering the risks, we have the bone and muscle loss, the radiation exposure, and other health problems that may occur to our body, to our mind. And also, when we are doing this kind of research, this kind of experiments, we need to find some standards, to requirements, to keep doing our research, and also to improve the occupancy of the astronauts in space. And that's why for the mitigation, we need to have some to deliver some technologies, countermeasures, and also preventions and treatments. Related to the hazards, just to present you really quick, we have these 5 topics related to psychological changes that may occur related to the gravity, because the gravity on Mars, it's one fourth, I think, I'm not sure now, but from it's one fourth of the Earth. And then also the radiation, the isolation, the to live in a closed environment, a closed and hostile environment, and also the distance from Earth. Related to the medical research, this picture was from the presentation of Professor Julio. It's a really interesting approach for the whole situation of medical research related to engineering, and also what would be the results and for the society, and also for the exploration. Just to tell you, the space medicine is included in the life sciences. And then we need to consider in this topic, we need to consider both medical and engineering approach. We need to have an integration of these both topics. As you can see there, we are talking about crew training, physiological measures, physiological support, radio protection, environmental control and life support systems, human operation control, and also robot assistance, and many others that I can mention here. But I will be presenting you some of these topics, just to have an idea what would be how to face some situations related to these activities in space. So when we are in a space environment, we have these concerns. These are some concerns. We have many others, but I think the main importance would be the slowing of cardiovascular system functions. We will have change in the immune system, in our immune system. Also, deterioration of our skeleton, of our bones, and our body will be impacted for radiation. Also, all the resources are limited, and we need to find good ways to use them. Not only human resource, but also medical resource, that when we are doing a medical research is really necessary. And also to consider the effects of isolation and the living, sorry, it's wrong there, but the living in an extreme and inhospitable environment. Just to present you, I like this concept. I think would be a good way to start. And when we are considering the health center, and if we are in a isolated isolated facility, maybe the health center could be something similar like this, because we need to consider this the space related thing, and also how what would be the distributions of each closed environment. And then this is my proposal for these modules. We have these three main modules. The first one in the left would be the surgeries and emergencies. Would be the astronauts would be there when the situation is going bad, really bad. And in the right corner, we have the physiological model that I will be presenting more details during the presentation, and also the bigger module would be more related to laboratory and manufacturing, and also as to have an area designated for storage, and also the first stance medical care. That in this part would be the astronauts would be going there to make the first checkup and see what are the necessities, and also if he will need to go to all or the physiological model or the emergencies, and then they will be like delivered for the other models in this first instance. Just to present you some pictures related to these areas in the facility. The physiological module maybe would be an area for not only for medical monitoring, but also for integration of the crew, and also for the astronauts stay comfortable with the environment and have a good mental approach in this model. Also, the emergencies, the rooms for maybe some surgeries and something like that, and also to have to see how is the body working, as you can see in the picture below, in the picture in the bottom, and to see how is the work, how is the body, and how is our bones, how is how our body is going in this environment, to make some checkups. And related to the operation of the facility, the main characteristics would be the treatment of medical emergencies on general purpose, like maybe checkups, and also monitoring of health, monitoring of the body, and also the mental health. And then would be necessary to conduct some regular checks and health awareness for the astronauts, and also conduct some practices for a good health. And then, my proposal was to have a crew with maybe 4 or 6 astronauts. If we consider 4 astronauts, this would be the 4 positions, like the doctor chief, the doctor assistants, the nurse, and the engineer. And if we consider more, 2 astronauts would be adding the nurse technician and also the biotechnologist. And for each position, we have some duties, like the doctor chief would be the surgery, would be designated for surgeries and general purpose. The doctor assistant would be for physiological monitoring, and also health improvement for the astronauts. The nurse would be making the follow-up and the checkups, and the engineer or biotechnologist would be designated for manufacturing process that I will be mentioning in the next slides, and also research and keep all the systems of the facility into operation, and do the maintenance of the systems too. Some demands we have related to health in space. We will need the medical care in first instance because if we face a situation, a bad situation of some injuries or some sickness, we need to do something really quick as soon as possible because it's the life of the astronauts that is inside the game, and we need to do all the possible approaches and all the possible we need to do what we can as soon as possible, and then also related to demands we will need some in-time medicine, and maybe with the lack of resource maybe this would be difficult for to be delivered, and also the demand for physical and mental well-being, and also treatments and procedures for prolonged illness, injuries, or even death. And also it's necessary to look for minimally invasive surgical techniques during surgical emergencies, because these procedures need to be really efficient for to avoid other possible contaminations and other possible situations that may occur during a surgery. And I have founded this in the link that Professor Jure shared. This is in reference one. We have an estimation of the average of one surgical emergency every 2.4 years on a Mars habitat. And if we consider this related to a daily life on Earth, this is a really long period to have some emergency. But we need to consider that we are in a situation that is not similar to Earth. We have a lack of resources, as I mentioned, lack of medical resources, and then we need to be prepared for all the possible situations that may occur. Related to human health in space, this is these are some two features that I really like that I will be presenting for you, but we have many others features related to human health, to human to how can I say the improvement of human body, and also the change that may occur in the human body. But these are two features that I really want to go in and to present you more related to it. This is the first one is we have a challenge. This big challenge is to provide nutritious and regular food production to meet the astronaut demand. And when we are talking about food production, we can consider some characteristics related to human plant interaction, and also to know how each food would contribute to our body, and what are some considerations to avoid sickness and contaminations. And also we need to know and to be including the right nutrients into our body. The other thing, this is more related also to human plant interaction, would be to stay connected with food, to stay connected with our meals, and be totally present during our meals and during our activities at all. And we need to know that the food is the organism raw material, and then if we have a good diet, and if we eat good food and have the right nutrients inside our body, and this would be affecting in our performance and also our tasks, the tasks that we are doing. And related to exercise, we need to do the regular physical exercise, including some scheduled workout routines, and not undergo significant physical stress. So we need to have the balance between workout and our the rates of our body. We need to know when we are tired, when we need to rest, when we need to sleep. And then this last phrase would be the health impact on tasks. And then if we are healthy, we would be doing our tasks better and to increase our performance in a space habitat. And this performance can be increased when we are taking care of our health. So related to the technologies, I will be presenting these, but we have many others too. We have the 3D printers. As I found it, the 3D printers would be useful for the development of surgical tools and also some genetic printers. And related to these genetic printers, we are I have mentioned this customized manufacturing of to use bacteria or fungus as I started materials for drugs and maybe other medicines that maybe would be useful for and would be necessary for the astronaut body. And also we have this. There are some research with this bacteria. I think this is a bacteria, E. coli, to produce caffeine and melatonin in space. This is I think it's a NASA experiment. I don't have sure for now. And also some interesting points. Another interesting point is the harness plants of biopharma factories. So when we are considering, maybe we can think that the greenhouse and the health center would not be integrated with them, with each other. But if we are considering the plant production and the plant harness, maybe we can cultivate some plants that would be useful to increase our health in space, to improve our health in space. And also some surgical enclosures for radiation shielding. Maybe during a surgery, the radiation could affect in our body when our body would be higher exposed for the radiation outside the environment, and then in these surgical situations, we need to have a bigger radiation shielding. I think for the whole habitat, but mainly on the health center. And also other support technologies. We have the remote surgery and telemedicine. Also autonomous robots assistance for surgeries and to aid in diagnosis and treatments for the astronauts. Also, I would like to mention the artificial intelligence to help on these topics, and also the use of wearable devices for have regular health status reporting to be delivered for a monitoring or a medical person that to do this monitoring of the body, of the health of the astronauts. Also, these are two pictures that I would like to present you. The use of the robots, justice in surgeries. We have also this Astro Skin wearable. Is a T-shirt with some sensors for breathing rate and volume, and skin temperature, and also activity level, blood pressure, blood oxygen levels. And also, I would like to mention other support technology that I didn't put it here, but it's really interesting. It's a research developed here in Brazil. and it was delivered for NASA to be tested in space. It's the use of tilapia skin for burns. And then when we are considering the food production, and as we have in Habitat Marte, the aquaponics, maybe the tilapia skin, we can reuse this skin for a medical necessity that or medical necessity that we would have in space, maybe a burn or something like that. Related to habitat support, the health center will be providing health and sustainability tool for the whole habitat in space, and also would be providing an astronaut training for optimal performance and productivity. And then this is the topic that I really like, considering that I'm in engineering. Maybe we could use the health approach to increase our performance, our productivity, our creativity, and many other characteristics for our body, for our mind. And also, the other support would be the planning at a basic level for first aid, and also take care of the crew members. This is really important too for the whole astronauts, for the whole members inside of the habitat, and also related to the behavioral domains on the habitat organization. And then with these four topics of support, I would like I have some questions that I was integrated. Yes, I really I like it to go deeper in these two questions and to know more related to it. And the first one would be how to guarantee an effective intervention of a non-medical crew, such as me. I'm not a medical, as I mentioned. I'm only an engineering student, and maybe, and after that, I will be in engineering. And if I'm working in a space environment and space habitat, how can I guarantee an effective intervention for my crewmates and um, for the whole habitat at all? And also how to stay connected and comfortable with the local environment, considering the situation of isolation and extreme confined environments in space that we will be facing on Mars. Then with these questions, I got inspired after this webinar that I have watched with Professor Julio. This is the like a first step, a quick start, the first moment that I've got this idea of health, human health in space, and then I got really inspired with these topics and the topics that was discussed in this webinar. And then I got motivated to conduct this research on resilience in space. And that's why I put it here, because considering the psychological model that I proposed in the facility, we will be considering how the psychological model could be helping for the other areas in the habitat and other approaches in the whole habitat. And then I will be presenting you some topics related to each area. The first one is the training area. Like I will be quick to not spend too much time in these topics, just to have an idea. Related to the training areas, we have to maintain the constancy and also in routines and tasks, and to develop the projects and carry on activities throughout small steps, and also to have a remote learning as we are having now. The presentations are contributing for our knowledge, all the presentations, and to keep motivated, to stay motivated and committed to achieve mission goals. Related to the work areas would be the increasement to increase the agility and cognitive flexibility in the laboratories and other areas inside the habitat, and to have a multifactorial approach is to not focus all our energy in a single activity. Then we'll be more productive when we do that. And also, related to work areas, we have a team of co-workers and co-creations partners. Is a term used by Susan, that was one of my reference to of her presentation. She used the term buddies, and I really like it. Like to have, if we have a partner in space, one will take care of one. Both will be taking care of each other, and also the related to creativity, we be doing some exercise and other activities to increase the creativity of the astronauts. And the other areas would be the social areas related to environment. Me and Professor Julio was in the last missions was really integrated with this kind of environment friendly design to have green spaces, green walls, vertical farming, the whole habitat to keep the crew and the astronauts more engaged with the environment, with the natural approach inside of the habitat, and to stay more similar to an environment of similar to Earth. And also they related to entertainment and interaction of crew. Also, they understand of the change to understand the changes on group behavior dynamics, and also to provide a mutual social support. And related to individual areas would be the capacity to do a critical self-assessment of performance for each astronaut, and also a personal wellness, and to promote a good and healthy sleep, and also consolidate the acquired knowledge to find good solutions for problems that the astronauts will be facing, and also to have new ideas. And then this is also a term used by Susan, is the Zen area. I really like it, and I started to do some research on it too. And the idea of this area would be to promote the health, the vitality, and the performance of the astronauts, and also providing learning stimulus for creativity and movement with workout routines and maybe yoga and other activities, stretching and something like that, and also the meditation for self-development and self-knowledge of each astronaut. And related to when we want to promote this, we need to find some practice for comfort, for harmony, for collaboration and mindfulness. And then we need to consider that everything is connected, not only the food with our body and performance, but also the collaboration, the harmony, the environment. When we are comfortable with all the situations that we will be facing, our body will have a better I can tell you a better shape in the whole areas, not only individual but social, work and training areas. And then related to the spin-offs, these are some guidelines proposed for Professor Julian in his presentation, related to guidelines for social isolation, as I mentioned here, about exercise, about nutrition, and also to provide safety and health in regions on Earth that have limited access to medical facilities. When we consider the telemedicine, the remote surgeries, and also the intervention of a non-medical person, maybe would be helping for these areas, regions on Earth that are really vulnerable and do not have the deserved access for medical and health, for medical approach and health at all. And these are my references. As I mentioned, I have taken some points of both presentations in the last missions, and one of these is the space medicine of Susan, and also related to the presentation of Health Center by Professor Julio. And these are the references and other reference. The presentation of Professor Julio was in mission 42nd, and the presentation of Susan was in mission 43rd. And that's it. Thank you very much. You are free to have questions. As I mentioned, this is more a proposal for me, from me, and I really want to improve that. If we have other ideas, and I'm free, I'm open for each idea and for comments too. And if we have questions, feel free to ask. Thank you very much.